the feelings, but also, for me, being vulnerable is a strength. Vulnerability is an absolute strength, because people say that, you being weak or you come across as weak. You see, I can be vulnerable now because I'm in a good place. I can't soften my heart and speak at a level where a lot of people are not in a good place, and I can explain, I can relate to them and tell them, look, things do get better, but you have to work on yourself daily, and you have to come away from all the things that are making you sad.
Former rugby player, actor, and a dedicated fitness enthusiast. Our guest today on the Settle or Be Better podcast is Mr. Keith Mason, who's going to be talking to us about good health, dedication, and showing up against all odds. So welcome, Mr. Keith, and over to you. Why don't you begin by telling us a little bit about your personal health and well-being story and your current work?
Yeah, I'm just Keith Mason, ex-professional rugby league player, an actor when I act, and I'm an entrepreneur. I have one or two businesses. I like to give back. I'll be going to Bangladesh in just over 10 days' time to help poorly children and individuals at a medical camp with over 40 professionals. That's for the foundation that I support, which is the Tafida Rakib Foundation, and we're trying to raise enough money to build a second only hospital in the UK for children with brain injuries. And obviously fitness and health is a big part of my life, and I'm in the gym 4 or 5 times a week. I like to go for long walks, and I like to meditate. I like to do cold plunges, anything where my body's moving and I'm getting a sweat on. I truly believe that being in the fitness and health, looking after your body and working out is something that's kept my head above water. It's brilliant for your mental health, and I recommend working out to everybody, because you always feel better after the workout. You're always one workout away from being.
Absolutely, and it's amazing to see your work, the way you're giving back to the society, and the way you're so dedicated to your fitness at 40, looking amazing and feeling so great in your body.
42.
42, right, 42. That's amazing, and we are so grateful to have you here today on our podcast. So to begin with, my first question is that you've been a rugby player, and how is it that you were still able to, keep at it after leaving the sport, work on your own fitness and health? Because for a lot of athletes, that moment can be a downfall for their health if they feel that void in their life, that void of not being in sports anymore professionally. That compelling reason is not there anymore. So how is it that you were still able to keep at it after for decades and still be so dedicated about it?
I felt like when I hear a lot of stories about a lot of sportsmen when they retire from sport, they fall into depression, and they struggle with the transition from sport to civilized life to the next stage of their life. And I felt like, sometimes I'll say this to my son, because my son plays, he's on the way up, he plays for Wigan Warriors, and I always say, when you retire from sport, you don't retire from life. You retire from sport, you're not retired from life, so you can go on and achieve other things in life. I'm not saying that everybody's going to go and be an actor or go into business, but you can get a trade, or you can move on with your life, and sport is such a short period of your life, but when you're actually playing sport, you feel like it's just your whole life and it's never going to end, and then it does, and then you're like, what am I supposed to do now? But what happens is, with athletes, they lose the discipline and the dedication, and also it's the routine that destroys people. Because when you're a rugby player, you have a diary, Monday to Friday, Monday to Sunday. You've got to be in work on Monday, got to be there Tuesday, day off Wednesday, in Thursday, day off Friday, run through Saturday, and then play Sunday. So you're having to be told where to be, right? So when you become your own boss, obviously when you retire from sport, some players have to go straight into work. Some players can go into other things. Some players make a lot of money and invest wisely. But a lot of rugby league players don't do that. They don't invest wisely, And I didn't make the best choices when I retired, even though I had a bit of money that I could live for a couple of years with. But soon that money runs out. So for me, being disciplined and consistent in the gym consistently is very important for any athlete. For the first 2 years when I retired, depression, drinking a lot, mental health problems, all kinds of stuff. But because I had the bad habits in my life, was affecting my mental health. Remember, if you look after yourself and you jump in cold plunges and you go work out, and you go for nice long walks, and you put good food into your body, and you have good company around you, your mental health is going to be in a much better place than it would be if you were self-destructing. And for them 2 years, I was self-sabotaging myself. And I think sometimes in life you have to go through them dark places for you to find who you truly are, and also who's true in your life. And I believe that God removed all the people who wasn't true in my life, and isolated me for a while. This is over 10 years ago now. Looking back, it's like, whoa, only yesterday. But speak about all this in my new book, which comes out in March, called All Odds About My Life.
Right.
Yeah, so make sure you buy that. I'll send you the link for the book. So.
Absolutely. We'll have a link in the description below for the listeners, and they can definitely reach out and learn a lot more from your book directly.
Yeah, that's a lot of material. Yeah, like I said, I'm a big advocate for mental health. Struggle myself. Sometimes it's hard for men to open up about the feelings, but also, for me, being vulnerable is a strength. Vulnerability is an absolute strength, because people say that, you being weak or you come across as weak. You see, I can be vulnerable now because I'm in a good place. I can't soften my heart and speak at a level where a lot of people are not in a good place. And I can explain, I can relate to them and tell them, look, things do get better, but you have to work on yourself daily, and you have to come away from all the things that are making you sad, that are making your body, feel shit.
Right, of course.
It's important to, I always say, get one good day at a time, get yourself clean and sober, work on yourself, set yourself some goals. I have a little whiteboard, and I'll write down the night before the things that I want to do the day after, the next day. And if I tick them off, then to me that every one of those objectives I've ticked off is a small win. And people underestimate the phenomenon of a small win, because I believe that small wins lead to big wins over time, and that's what I do on a daily basis. I try implement 4 or 5 different things that I need to do, which will ultimately make me better and also get me closer to my goal.
Right, of course. That makes so much sense. It's true that as an adult, a lot of us lack having small wins in our daily life, because when we are kids, when we are in school, we have that. We have those little competitions, we have little feel-good things happening in our life. But as an adult, we forget to do that if we are, stuck at a workplace we don't like, or doing a job that we don't like, and we just forget to have those small wins in our life. That makes so much sense. And what you said earlier, not just for athletes, but even people with, working in corporates or business leaders, anyone, work becomes an identity. And anytime someone would ask you, oh, what are you? What do you do? Like, all we say is that is our profession, right? Like, I'm a teacher, I'm a doctor. There's nothing beyond that. For years, for decades, if we want to introduce ourselves or we want to talk about identity, it's work. And when we stop working or we will retire, that identity is taken away, and then a lot of us lose purpose, right? And it's very difficult at that point. So it's very important, like you said, that we need to have that time for ourselves to work on our body and to become healthier in any way possible, right? So thank you for sharing. That was very insightful. And what aspect of physical training has helped you outside the gym over the years, in tough times in your life, or for your overall well-being? Has it helped you get through tougher times in your life?
Yeah, without working out and training, honestly, it's like working out's the best antidepressant. There's a number of things that I do through the day which I've implemented into my life in 2024. The first thing I do is I jump in the cold pod, going for walks. I do tapping, all the body, get your body moving in the morning. All these stuff put you in a better frame of mind, and also, self-affirmations, like, speaking good about yourself. The way you love other people, you should respect yourself and love yourself exactly the same. So I think getting your body moving, getting the blood flow moving first thing in the morning, going to the gym. I have a lovely partner who I go to the gym with, and we train together. So she's really into her fitness as well. So she gets up in the morning, takes the dogs for long walks and stuff like that, while I'm still in bed. And then we go to the gym. The gym has a steam room and a sauna, so I'm hitting the saunas every day. I like to mix my training up with body weight training, sprints, runs, swimming, walks, all these stuff. I like to mix it. I don't like to just do the same thing because I get bored after a while. So I like to always mix it up. And obviously, with my experience as a professional rugby league player, sometimes I know what I need to do in the gym, and I don't have to have it down. I don't generally write anything down. I'll go in there, I'll have it in my mind. I know how many sets I want to do. I know how many reps I want to do. I know how long I'm going to rest for. I know if I'm going to do cardio. I know if I'm not going to do cardio, just depending on how I feel. Two main things that will get you through anything in life, and you need to listen to this, right? So, number one, consistency. Being consistent over a long period of time, doing it well and doing it well all the time. And discipline. Discipline is doing it when you don't want to do it, right? But do it anyway. Those two things in my life, consistency and discipline. I've not always been disciplined, don't get me wrong. I've messed up along the way. I've made a lot of mistakes, like we all do. But, for me, it's about owning those mistakes and putting your hand up and saying, look, I messed up there. How can I be better? And I see them as not failures, but lessons. How not to do it again. And how to do it this way. And life is all about falling and getting back up, messing up,
Absolutely.
learning, doing it better. I always believe we're always a work in progress. We're always. We should always be wanting to improve, so we'll leave this blue planet and go to heaven. With God. So I always believe we're a work in progress. And I think if we have a growth mindset and we think that way, then we will never stop learning, always improve.
Yes, that's absolutely very beautiful. And I'm sure the people who've been working out for, like, say, 10 years, 12 years, it's very important for us to, find new things that we can learn from, probably a new sport or a new physical training or any new way to move, because otherwise it just gets too monotonous and that can really, make us stop at some point. So it's very important to have that variety in life and also to explore all of these new, learnings available to us, right? So that's beautifully said. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And you're a father, and from the look of it, you have this beautiful relationship with your children. How important do you think is it for fathers to really prioritize their health? Because we see so many, not to judge here or generalize here, but I'm sure there are many parents out there who are, being active and leading by example for their children to take care of their health. But many times, fathers are under so many responsibilities, finances, and taking care of their families, their own career, for the children, so many things that taking care of the personal health is just left behind at some point. So how important do you think is it for fathers to really take out that time for themselves throughout the day and work on themselves? And what would be your message for the fathers out there today?
Some fathers it's very stressful. Some dads, a lot of dads go out there and they work all week, and then they come home and then they have to be a father to the kids. They have to be a good husband. They have to be a good partner to the wife. They have to be this type of guy. And I think it's fake because, life is tough. And, I think I always say two is better than one. So, if you're lucky enough, you've got a loving partner. You both work together, right? For men are out there working all day. They're coming home. They're having to spend time with the kids, which is not a lot of time at all. Maybe an hour a day. And then, have a relationship with the partner. The way the system's worked is like, they go to work at 9, they finish at 5, they come home, they've got an hour with the kids, they've got an hour with the missus, if that. They've got to get a shower. It's a lot of stress on men. A lot of stress, and this is why a lot of men, this is why it is statistically more men take their lives than women. Because there's a lot of pressure on a man's shoulders, and also it's much harder for a guy to talk about his problems than it is for a woman, because I know women that they get all the friends round and they talk and where men it's different. And like I said, I think that's improved with time, but I think this is what I speak about in my new book, about being open and also knowing that it's not a bad thing to be stressed out. It's not bad to feel weak, because a lot of days I feel a bit stressed out and I feel weak, but the thing is I accept it, and I just, your emotions come and go. Some days you feel like shit, some days you feel alright. It's just understanding why you're feeling like that and also leaning to your emotions, But I feel like if you live positive life and try to live an healthy life and be around good people are very important. Having good associations around you, one of the most important things. You could have 5 millionaires, you could have a millionaire, hanging out with a couple of people who are not, I would be depressed. The guy who lives in a flat, his own, got TV, He has food, he has water, but he has 3 or 4 good friends. But he's happy. Your associations are so important, and there's an old saying, you show me your crowd and I'll show you your future. So, you've got to have good company around you, because misery loves misery, right? And, me in the past, when I've been in a bad place, you get around people who are in similar situations, and they kind of not even get you to a better place. Somebody who's not in where you are, not drinking, not doing this, not doing that, somebody who's healthy, they would be better to be hanging around with than somebody who's doing exactly the same as you. So you've got to be around people who are going to make you better. And going back to the dad's thing, it's a lot of stress. I've been a single dad quite in my life where I've been seeing my son for 2 years, and that broke me nearly. But we have a stronger relationship now than ever. That was to do with parents not getting on, and depression, and suicide. Parents not seeing their children through separation, right? And generally, women in court get the upper hand, and it's not fair. But some women, there's men out there who have the children, and some women are not seeing their kids. So it is a tough thing. But ultimately, for me, getting in the gym and just toughing it out, get in the gym. You've got 24 hours in a day. You've got at least an hour in a day. Get in the gym, work out. You're going to feel better. Put some good food into your body. You're going to feel better. Go out for a walk. You'll feel better. Do some breath work. Jump in an ice bath. All these things are going to help you. They're going to put you in a better frame of mind. They're going to get your endorphins going, and anything to do with endorphins and serotonin, I'm all for it. So yeah, as a dad, look after yourself. You need to be strong. Like I said, some days are going to be good, some days are going to be bad, but what you're going to believe is that you're stronger than you think. I'm an advocate for mental health, but I'm also an advocate for men, and especially single dads, because keep your chin up, your chest out, and just look after your body. Look after number one. Look after number one, and everything else will work.
Absolutely. That makes so much sense. And I hope that all the fathers listening to this do take out that time for themselves, do invest in themselves, their own bodies. And, in the end, that's going to help them take better care of their families. And I hope that we as a society can create exactly the same safe space that we have for women to open up for men as well. And we can have these conversations more openly and more freely. And, nobody has to hide with these things, right? So thank you for sharing that with us. It was beautiful. And talking about your game days, what is something that you still carry with yourself from your game days, and what is something that you had to let go or unlearn along the way?
What have I learned through my career? Oh yeah, so basically, obviously being an ex-professional rugby player, a lot of things I've learned, a lot of values and good ethics I've learned through sport. Leadership is one, being a leader on a field, and leading your troops out onto the field, and setting the example. I believe in more action and less talk. Perseverance, keep going. When things don't work out, you just got to persevere. You've got to keep going until you get there. Never giving up is one of the most important attributes you can have in life, because when you give up, that's when you lose. Like I said before, discipline, doing the right thing and doing it all the time, even though you don't want to do it. But ultimately, without discipline, there's no success, there's nothing. You're not going to achieve anything, not long term anyway. Consistency is important. All these things I've learned, professional sport, I use now as an actor, as a father, as a friend, as a son, and also, pray every day, you know what I mean? I'm a big believer in Jesus and believe in God. And I also believe that you do good to those. Look after your friends, and be an inspiration. Be a follower. Be a leader. Be a good partner. Be a good friend. Be a good son. And all these things take effort and time. But I get up and I pray, and it puts me in a good frame of mind. I ask God for strength. I ask Him to protect my family. I ask Him to protect my loved ones. And I go ahead with my day and have no fear. So I think all the attributes I've learned through sport and having faith, I've brought all them into the acting game. Prepare for a role like I'm doing for this new film I'm doing called The Chosen. I'm playing an Irish detective. Hopefully we'll be going out to Ireland and Canada later this year. Training like an athlete, and I put the road work in. I'm having to work on the Irish accent at the minute, which is quite tricky. The Belfast accent. For example, got a film out in America now called The Punished. It's been screened in America. I play lead detective Jack Sullivan, a serial killer thriller, and I produced that film along with a young director. It was a small budget film, but it was my first film I've been a lead. And the character was an alcoholic. He was quite messed up. He has a lot of demons, but at the same time he's trying to hunt down a serial killer. And it was based in north of England. Who did it with a team, not really, we didn't have a massive crew. Brought some actors in who never acted before. And all these qualities I talked about, you know, leadership and perseverance, never giving up. I mean, we had to film this over 2 years, this film. And we also filmed the prologue scene, the opening scene, through COVID, through lockdown. So we filmed that scene in Halifax. And I just used my initiative, and I said to the director, we should do a scene in Halifax while it's all locked down. You know, obviously, you know, if the authorities knew, we won't be able to do it. But you know what I mean? I just used that initiative, and obviously it makes the film look like it's got a lot more budget in the film. You know, we did the film, we edited the film, and then we sold the film to High Octane Pictures in America, which is getting good reviews over there. And hopefully it'll be in the UK in 2024. So I feel like, you know, being an actor is very similar to being a rugby player, an athlete. You've got to put the work in. If you don't put the work in, you know, you're not going to get anywhere. So I enjoyed that process of learning lines, getting into it, and also you know, the wardrobe is important as well, what the character wears. So, you know, but it took me 10 years, man. 10 years of disappointments, 10 years of jumping on buses from Leeds to London, not getting a gig, then coming back 5 hours on the bus. So, you know, people don't know about this, but I speak about this in the book, in my new book.
Amazing, and it's amazing to see you rediscover yourself through acting now and all the work that you're doing right now at this point. I mean, it's really inspiring because people feel like life ends at 40. Like if you've been chosen one career and you're done, you're retired, you're just done for that life and you're done with your work, right? I mean, it's amazing to see people like you still going at it, rediscovering your interests and finding yourself through new ways of work. And I hope that a lot of us can do that for ourselves as well. So thank you for sharing that with us. And lastly, talking more about your book, is there anything more that you would like to share about it, and who should get your book and why should we get it?
Well, my book is it's called Against All Odds. There's a number of reasons why that. Because when I was a young kid, I grew up on a council estate in Dewsbury Moor, a place called Pilgrim. I grew up with my mum. She was a very loving woman, with 5 brothers and sisters. I wasn't the best kid in school, and I got literally kicked out of 4 or 5 schools throughout my childhood. I was in a lot of trouble with the police. I was a youth offender, persistent youth offender, and most of my crimes were from 10 years old to 14, and then obviously that's what turned my life around. For me to overcome that childhood where I was constantly in trouble, you know, hanging around with my mates, was in a lot of trouble, and then turning my life around and going into sport and becoming a professional athlete, that is probably my greatest achievement, because, you know, I didn't really have a mentor, I didn't have a father figure around. I just had my faith in myself that I wanted to be somebody. 45 times to really understand that I need to turn my life around. I've got to stop hurting my mum. And I was always an ambitious kid. I always knew I'd get out of this situation and being in so much trouble. You know, I went for it. I wanted to be a rugby league player. I thought, right, that life's done now. I'm going to cut all my friends off, which I did. Cut them all off. Said a prayer. God give me strength. And I never looked back. And I went on to have a 14-year professional rugby league career, international rugby career. You know, I played in Australia, played in finals, played with some of the greatest players to ever play the game. I'm very grateful. It's the struggles and the storms that I went through that give me my strengths and made me stronger. So life is about suffering, but it's also about finding the fine meaning in that suffering. And, you know, I have been getting after it since a little boy. And, you know, I persevered with the acting game. I did my first film in 2013 with Mickey Rourke. He gave me a call. Do you want to be in a movie, Keith? And I'm like, yeah, sure, Mickey, no worries. Obviously, me and Mickey were friends. We met in 2009 after I played in a Challenge Cup final at Wembley. We became friends. Then he gives me a call, do you want to be in a movie, Keith? And I'm like, yeah, sure. When is it? And I was playing for Castleford at the time. So I went down to London and I had about 13 lines in the film called Skin Traffic. Michael Madsen was in there, Jeff Fahey, the lady out of Splash, I forgot her name anyway, but Gary Daniels, Mickey Rourke. So I had 13 lines in the film, and obviously I did the role, and I thought to myself, wow, that's a light in the room, light bulb moment. And but if I persevere at this, I might make something good at it. So I saw that Mickey Rourke, he got paid about $200,000 in cash that day. And I've been persevering ever since. So, a lot of this stuff I speak about in the book, my book, it reads like a movie because my life has been like a movie. But, I just feel like, when you talk about life ends at 40, life begins at 40. I truly believe that because I think you go through all your nonsense of wasting time and drinking and doing this with that person. And as you get older, you just want peace of mind and quiet time. And you fully focus on yourself. So this year, I'm going to Bangladesh, like I said, in 10 days' time. I'm there for 10 days on a medical camp to help very poorly children. I can't wait for the experience. It's going to open my eyes up. It's also going to humble me as well because, sometimes you got to realise how lucky we are compared to how lucky and how what a terrible place these children and these poor individuals are. So, if I hadn't listened to that young boy when I was 14 and the last time I came out of court, this is it now. I want to be a somebody, and that's what I did. And there was a lot of knockbacks, a lot of failures along the way, but I never give in. And you can't give in. And this is the reason why I'm speaking to you right now, because I want to have a story to tell. And take something from it, whatever you can take from it. A kid from a council estate can live his dreams and not have no education and have all the system against him, and have one person who loved and believed in him, and that was my mum. Then so can you. You can achieve your dreams as well.
Absolutely. The book seems really amazing, and I'm personally very excited for it. The link will be in the description below. People can reach out and get one for themselves. I'm sure at any walk of life right now, we can learn so much from your book and your experiences that you just spoke about that I didn't even know before. So I'm so excited for the book. Congratulations and all the best for that. And this brings us to the end of the episode today. Do you have any last messages or thoughts to leave us with?
Well, all I can say, 3 things. Always work hard, never give up, and always be kind. If you live by the mantras and move forward in life, you're going to be in a good place. Never giving up. If you give up, then your dreams are done, they're finished. I think a lot of times people are looking outside sources for inspiration, but the inspiration comes from you. It's inside of you. There's something in you that can't be broken, and there's something in you wants to reach its full potential. And I think we're all here to not only reach our potential, but to help others, because I believe that we stop helping ourselves and we stop helping others. And I just want to keep moving forward, do my best work I can do. Like I said, I want to be a good dad, I want to be a good partner, and if I can inspire a few people along the way, then I'll be truly happy. So I'm very, very thankful for you reaching out to me, because I don't do a lot of these podcasts, to be honest with you. But I feel like you've been a good host and you've sat there and you've listened, and I've just rambled on. So hopefully someone can take something from this interview.
Absolutely. It was really beautiful, and you have such a calm and collected presence, and the kindness you have is just radiating right through the screen right now. So more power to you. Someone with such amazing emotional intelligence is so rare to find and have a conversation with. So I'm really grateful to have this episode today. Thank you so much. We're really grateful to have you here today, and there was so much learning for me personally, and I can't wait for our audience to listen to this episode and get their learnings as well. So thank you so much once again, Keith, for being here today, and more power to you, to all the work that you're doing. And for the ones who would like to reach out to you, learn a lot more from you, there'll be links in the description below to your book and your Instagram, and look at your work a lot more closely. So thank you once again for being here.
Thank you very much.